It's my weekend baking time. I thought I should do another bread recipe for you. For that, I'm going to use oats bread today. It's a very healthy bread, and when you want to buy a kind of a nice healthy loaf, it costs you a lot. But if you make it at home, it costs only a couple of dollars. For this recipe, I'm using 300 grams of quick oats, or you can use the rolled oats, but it's better if you can use the quick oats in this recipe. 12 grams yeast and 50 grams sugar, 470 milliliters of water, a teaspoon of salt, and the bread flour. I have 750 grams as I'm going to do 2 sandwich loaves. So I have a trick for this bread. This is a friend's idea actually. When you make bread, after making the dough and punching it down, take a piece out and leave it in the fridge. Once you do another bread, you can put that in the dough, not the whole lot. You can have a little bit of this one and put it in the bread. It makes the bread softer and looks bakery type. So I'm going to start this now, adding flour into a mixing bowl. So into the mixing bowl, going to add the bread flour, and into that sugar and the yeast. And if you like, you can use wholemeal flour instead of white bread flour. So while mixing, I'm going to put a bowl of the leftover dough into the flour mix. I'm going to mix it with that, and I have another piece left, so I'm going to leave this in the fridge. And once you do this, you can take a piece out from this and leave it in the fridge to put it in another one, so it makes the bread softer and nicer. So into the flour now, going to add the salt into a corner, and then going to mix the oats. While mixing the oats and the flour, now I'm going to add the water little by little and make a nice smooth dough, kneading about 15 minutes. When kneading the dough, if you find the dough is a bit harder, add another 50 milliliters of water, because when you add water to the oats, it soaks a little bit than using normal flour. So add some more water and make a smooth dough. After kneading the dough, I'm going to leave this in a warm place in a greased bowl until it double in size again. The bread dough is double in size, so what I'm going to do is to add some flour onto the bench top and punch this down and put it onto the bench top. I'm going to cut this into 8 equal parts. After cutting the dough into 8 equal parts, take one part out and leave the rest aside, and make a bowl, and then use a rolling pin to roll it to a rectangular shape like this. So always use your loaf pan and check the measurements always to the size of the width of the loaf pan. So after that, roll the rectangular shaped dough and set it nicely and put it in the loaf pan and leave it to prove again in the loaf pan. So I'm going to put 4 in each loaf pan because I'm going to do 2 loaves. So I did 8 small loaves in 4 in one loaf pan, so both are ready. Again, I'm going to leave this to prove until it comes to 90% of the loaf pan, and then I'm going to cover it. If you don't have a cover like this, don't worry about that at all. You can do without that. It will be just like a normal bread. So I'm going to leave this to prove again maybe another 30 minutes. When the bread dough is double in size, take some milk and brush the tops with milk, and then cover with this sandwich loaf cover, or even you can leave without. And going to bake this 180 about 35 to 45 minutes. It will depend. So if you don't have a lid, don't worry about that at all. So I'm going to bake this 180. So I finished baking the oats bread. If I open one to show you how it looks like, it is really soft and moist. And so I hope you will enjoy this. Thank you for watching.